My favorite place. My favorite place to ride a bike is probably Flanders. Like it's nice here.
Mathieu van der Poel blew up, and Casper Asgreen had just that extra something to get to the line. Van der Poel first to congratulate him, now tasting, I guess, the
if you win as Belgian Tour of Flanders, you become, at least for one day, a bit the king of Flanders. Everybody knows who has won the race, and even if it's then a Belgian, you are the national hero for at least one day.
Small roads, the always constant fight for positioning. If you get it wrong, you're on the back, and then you have to come up with a new plan, and it creates a very dynamic race. My favorite thing about bike racing is the dynamics and the action, the constant changing of situations, and you have to react to that. And that's also why I really enjoy racing the classics, the spring classics.
In this area, do you have a favorite section?
For me, the Old Quaremont, yes. It's one of the toughest, but I don't know how, but I survive it mostly quite well. Watersbach I have sometimes more problems because it's more explosive, and this one is more endurance already. This one, yeah, the Old Quaremont is 3 minutes 15 on the cobbles. Watersbach is only 1 minute, so I think it's a different effort.
I always grew up watching the spring classics on the television, of course, and it was always my favorite races to watch because there was so much action, there was so much going on. Obviously, I hadn't done any of those races before or anything that even resembled it, but it was still my dream to do it because I loved the action, the dynamics there. So when I turned professional, it was also one of the first things I asked the team if I could try and do the classics. And luckily they gave me the chance, and I had the abilities and the necessary strength to become a regular part of the roster.
The name Flandrien means a fighter that never stops, even if there is a bad weather situation or heavy conditions or a hard race. It's just fighting against yourself and try to be as good as possible on the bike.
I always like to spend the full spring period here in Belgium to be able to do all the recons, to train on the roads that we're doing in the races, so that when I show up to the races, I know exactly where all the little gaps are, where all the holes are at the side of the road, and you find the little places where you know you can move up or whatever it is. So I always put a lot of effort into doing my recons, and that's also why I always choose to stay here in Belgium throughout the whole spring. My favorite climb is the Old Quaremont as well. I really enjoy it because it's so long, and you still have that little kick up at the end. So you think you're at the top, it starts to flatten out, you get a bit more speed, and then it just kicks up one more time there towards the end, and that really kills the legs. But so yeah, it's a really hard one. I knew Mathieu always had a really strong punch, and his ability to to accelerate on the uneven surface on the cobbles is really hard to match. But when we got out on the asphalt road and I could see I was gaining on him again, I was pretty confident that I could catch him. Obviously, it was a super hard effort to do it, but I felt like it was doable. Coming into Quickstep is always such a dominating force in the classics, and a lot of the teams often just react to what we're doing. So I came in and there was always a plan for what we were going to do, how we were going to do the race, and at which point we had to be in the front, when we were going to do what, and so I never really looked to what the other guys or the other teams were doing, because I knew when I had to be there. I didn't always succeed with being there when I had to be there in the beginning, but I was trying. A lot of things changed from the first time I did Flanders to the third time. Obviously, within the team, I'd proven myself at that point, and going into the race, I was one of the leaders, and one of the guys they were counting on to try to win the race. The first year, I was covering attacks from kilometer 0, and on the front of the race throughout most of the day. And somehow I still managed to finish second, but it wasn't my role in the race, and if I hadn't been able to do that, I would still have done my job perfectly. But now I go into the race as a leader, and I'm expected to try to be up there in the final, and hopefully fight for the win to get along with a few of my teammates. And that's obviously a different pressure, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy being up there, and to have the support of the best classics team in the world it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling to know that these guys trust me to try to win the race, you feel it with the public as well. It's a lot more attention from the media. At the side of the road, a lot more people are yelling my name, it's an incredible feeling to get that feeling that people really support and get inspired by what I'm doing. We always try to go with the plan that we made before the race, but obviously sometimes punctures, crashes, things happen that changes the race, and then we have to change our plan, or we have to try to get back to our original plan, usually it just goes by experience. A lot of us have raced these races for a long time, and so we all pretty much know what to do, and it can be difficult from the car to call the shots, because they don't know what's going on, because their televisions are behind, and they can be several minutes behind because of crashes or punctures or splits or whatever, so they don't always know what's going on in the front. So it's kind of up to the riders and our experience to figure out what are we going to do to try to get back on track, and we don't always succeed with it. Sometimes we fuck it up, but we try our best, and I think most of the time it works out, and it's just a pleasure to be part of a team with so much experience and so many strong riders that has the ability to correct a bad situation. think I would be annoyed if I was living here full time. I'm always training here because of the concrete roads and the constant tuk-tuk, tuk-tuk, tuk-tuk.